How can I find the area of this shape using multiplication? In this lesson, you will learn how to find the area of a polygon by multiplying the length and the width. So let's review first. Remember that area is the amount of space a polygon takes up. So area is all of this space inside of the lines of the shape. Let's also review that there are two measurements when we talk about area and perimeter. We can talk about the length, how long a shape is, and the width, how wide a shape is. One last thing we're going to review is multiplying with an array. So if we have 3 times 5 and we make an array, we'll take the first number 3, and that's how the number of rows we'll make for our array. And then we'll take the number 5, and that's the amount in each row. So we know that 3 times 5 is 15 because 3 rows with 5 circles in each row gives us 15 circles altogether. A common mistake that you might make is adding the side lengths to find the area. If there are 3 square units here and 4 square units here, you might want to add them together, but 7 is not the area of this shape. We know that we can tile a rectangle and count up the tiles to find the area of that shape like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So the area of this shape is 24 square units because there are 24 square tiles in the shape. Another way I can find the area of the rectangle when it's on a grid paper is to look at it like an array. That way I can multiply the length by the width to find out how many square tiles are in the shape. So with this shape, I see that there are 6 squares across, so for the length, and there are 4 squares down, which would be the width. So when I write my number sentence or my multiplication sentence, I would multiply 6, the length, times 4, the width. So then I have 24 square units for the area, which is the same thing that I got when I tiled the area. So let's look back at our first question. How do I find the area of this rectangle? By multiplying. Well, I'm going to look at my two measurements, 4 squares for the length and 3 squares for the width. And I'm going to multiply them together just like an array. 4 times 3 I know is 12. So there are 12 square units in this area. If I wanted to double check, I could simply count up the square tiles in this shape, and I would also get 12 square units. In this lesson, you have learned how to find the area of a polygon by multiplying length and width.
You did a really good job of teaching us or reminding us of how we can see arrays inside of rectangles or squares. If you take a look at this rectangle I drew here, you might be able to, or you should be able to see now that there is an array inside of that perimeter. Let me go down here and check on click on the grid for you. Maybe that'll help you see it a little bit better. Okay, so we have a square here and a square here and a square here. So we have 3 squares in that row, right? Or if we're looking at perimeter, we'd say that there were 3 units across. 1, 2, and 3. So there are 3 units here, or 3 squares in that row. How many rows do we have? Well, let's take a look. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. Or another way of looking at this is we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 units down the length of this rectangle. So when we go to do our multiplication, you should remember from when we were looking at multiplication using arrays that when we have 5 rows and there are 3 in each row, we can write a multiplication that looks like this, multiplication sentence. 5 times 3, and that of course equals 15. So there are 15 squares inside of the perimeter of this rectangle. Or another way of saying that is there are 15 square units inside this rectangle. So the area of this rectangle is 15 unit squares, or square units. And since we don't know what that unit is, we'll just call it units. And this little 2 here you've seen a lot simply means squares for now. Okay, so as long as you remember that that little 2 means square. So we have 15 unit squares, and that is the area of this rectangle. Here's my boy Chaos. Isn't he beautiful? Well, here's the problem I have. He needs a doghouse. And I have 24 square units of material to lay down for the floor of his doghouse. I'm not sure what the length and the width of his doghouse should be. His doghouse is going to be a rectangular shape, but I'm just not sure which rectangular shape I should use. So I need you to show me all the possible ways that I could make a rectangular shaped doghouse for Chaos that has 24 square units as the area of the floor.